This is work that is taking place in some districts. So it's not brand new, but it'd be different for us. So when we're talking about mental health with our students in particular, we really want to make sure that all is as vetted as possible. So as we continue down this path, I'll make sure to keep you in the loop, keep you apprised. Final thing to talk to you about, thank you to Stacy Cundiff for good hard work. We will be receiving a donation in the next month or two from Triple Oak. That's that new wind energy group that's come to town. And basically, they're going to give us the funds to purchase an AED so we can put at the concession stand, at the football field. So she's worked hard on that, working with the group. I really appreciate her efforts, and we will see where that goes in the future. So eventually, we'll be bringing forth a donation to and that's what that is all about. So that's it, Mr. Peterson.
Thanks, Dr. Myers. Buildings and grounds. Transportation. Food service. Technology. Move on to the principals' reports, and we'll start with Amy.
Didn't change it up, huh?
Not first meeting.
I'm going to just give a little IPS update for Wiley for this upcoming semester. We switched our career tents this year within our preschool and kindergarten classrooms. Last week we had them come into the gym and we did an introduction for each of the careers that they're going to be able to explore. We had a mechanic, an ice cream truck driver, let's see what else, astronaut, firefighter. I can't remember all of them, but there was 6 different new ones that they're going to get to explore. They're always excited about that. Our first graders will also be taking their trip to the bank and the library coming up, and our second graders are getting ready to start researching their careers for our big truck day that will be held at the beginning of May. And so we'll see what that brings. Maybe we'll have a massive piece of equipment come show up on Main Street again. I'm not sure. So this is always an exciting time of year for the career exploration in Wiley as we kind of really get it going. They've been talking a lot about it within counseling class with Miss Castillo, and now they kind of get to see some of the things actually play out. So looking forward to that.
Thank you. Randy?
I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on our MTSS math. We've been slowly starting with MTSS math. We've been doing reading for a long time. We did math for a while, but always there's a little bit of restructuring sometimes. And so we've been started with that. I'm really happy with all the hard work that the teachers are doing with that. We're aligned across the building at this point with all grade levels doing something similar. We're using our iReady diagnostic data, and we use that report to group our kids with similar needs. All of the teachers have committed to giving explicit instruction every day during their power hour, whether they are in a group that has several prerequisite skills to go over, or if they're in a group that's really on track to be ready for the next skill. The cool thing about what they're doing is they look and group the kids for their upcoming unit, and then they teach prereq skills that the kids don't have yet. So they may not have some of the skills that they need in order to do the upcoming unit, whatever that might be. And so they are working on those things as they prepare for that. And then once that unit starts, they restructure and they start pre-teaching for the next unit that they're going to do. So I would say, I could be wrong on this, but I think that the units are typically like 2 to 4 weeks. And so this is really awesome because it is getting those kids ready to learn those new skills as opposed to finding out they have those gaps and then trying to fill them while you're teaching that topic. It may seem or sound simple, but it really isn't. It requires a lot of planning. It's complex. We're lucky that iReady does a lot of that for us and gives us kind of a start with it. But it requires them to work together as a team. It requires a lot of organization, planning, preparation, and then they have to resort, every few weeks. So I really just want to celebrate the teachers, their hard work, and their commitment to making sure that the kids really have what they need to be successful in that next piece. So really happy with where our MTSS math is right now.
Thank you, Randy. Tyler?
Similar update to Amy's, just about our IPS. We actually spent our morning assembly today talking about individual plans of study. I opened just asking them, how many of you hope to have a job someday? Not very many hands went up, so I think we plan on staying with mom and dad for a while. But no, we just talked about why it's important, why having a strong portfolio could help you looking for that first job, getting a resume built and stuff. So those were good conversations. They'll start those with their homerooms on Thursday, and then we'll start obviously building from there. I've shared with you that our goal is by the February parent-teacher conferences that kids can share some data with their parents at those conferences. And we're hoping that'll get better turnout from folks as well. In my report, I kind of shared some summative data from the fall semester. Overall, just looking at the different metrics, it was a very good semester. Coming off break, Dr. Myers had alluded to reviewing procedures, expectations. Traditionally at the middle school, there's been a spike, in January, February with behavior. So far, so good. I should not have said that, but I did. So if you were going through our hallways, you'd see a lot of teachers reviewing expectations and stuff right now, but also getting into content. But very solid fall semester. We were a lot of great work by our teachers, a lot of growth in individual students that I could share with you, and hoping for a really strong spring semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Gary?
I got voted to give a talk about PL, our district-wide PL, by our ladies over there. They're kind of like the moms. They just tell us what to do, and we do it. So I'm going to be good and just do as I'm told. District-wide PL, something that we've been working extremely hard for the last 3 years is to be more unified, K-12 on our instructional approach. So one of the things that is tied to our KISA goal is the construction of a district-wide professional playbook. And the playbook encompasses all the areas of teaching, from breaking down the standards of what we should know, how to set up our classroom for classroom management, the physical space, how to create good lesson plans, how to actually teach the content, like if I'm talking to the students, what are good instructional strategies to do, and then how do I assess them, like do I give them the tests in order to gain the information. The really cool part about this for the last 3 years, looking through this and finding out what that we really wanted to chase after. This year, all staff K through 12 are broken into 4 different sections based on what they wanted to sign up for, where they feel like their strength is, and the teachers themselves are writing the playbook. So the cool thing about our professional development is we get to ask some good questions from them, and the teachers are the ones collaborate with each other to say this is the area this is the way that we think should go based on Anita Archer's explicit instruction. And so the creation of the playbook is part of our KISA goals. To teach the sections of the playbook to each other is next year's KISA goal. The best part about that is then we have a vision of what we believe in here in Holcomb about instruction, so that when you have new people coming in, or other people that want to get better in certain areas, we can say this is what we believe. This is what we're about. This is how we're going to go about doing it. And it's all research-based, proven to be effective. So it's something that's pretty exciting to see take hold. And the best part about it, and they can probably share with this, is the teachers are really invested into it. So it's not your traditional PD, professional development, where you walk in, and we are talking and they're sleeping and we're trying to figure this out. It's the teachers collaborating with each other, and it makes the time go really fast. So it's been really good this year.
Thank you, Jerry. We'll move into unfinished business and district strategic plan update.
All righty, if you'll recall, we spent basically the lion's share of last year creating the district 5-year plan, strategic plan. And at the time, we had really good input from the community and focus groups that did the work along with the teachers, the people, the patrons. And once this came to the board and got codified, I think it's back in June or July, one of the two, put it into play. Told you at the time, it does no good to do any kind of work if you just then put it on the shelf. So we've not done that by any means. And at the time I told you on a quarterly basis, I'd bring you an update on the work that's taking place within the strategic plan, not all aspects of it, but, choosing one of the pillars and then talking about that. Well, tonight, the idea that what I wanted to discuss with you, the work that's taking place, is within the pillar of student success, and it's flat out what Jerry was talking about. The one piece of the student success aspect is professional learning. The whole, in my mind's eye, a partnership between the families and the teachers, that's the key to education, one of the really important keys to education. So it's really, really, really important that we are all centered and we are getting the absolute best educational efforts put forth by our teachers. And that comes from, yes, we've got dedicated people, but it comes from professional learning. And so what Jerry had alluded to, where he flat out talked about, coming up with ultimately the instructional playbook, which gets implemented, will be launching next year. It is a piece of our KISA plan, or it's a major part of the KISA plan. If you recall, KISA is the accreditation system for the state of Kansas. So a great deal of work is taking place within this. This is where the work has been throughout the year, carrying over from last year as well, because once again, as Jerry did talk about, more of a centralized, we're all in the same canoe type approach to education here in Holcomb. So it doesn't shift up from a second grade classroom to a sophomore classroom to a 5th grade classroom. It's all pretty well the same. On this particular one, we're dealing with we're buying into the explicit instruction work of Anita Archer. Now, at the same time, we're also doing work with MTSS still, and that's something Randy had mentioned. We've had ELA, or Language Arts, MTSS for years. And about 3 years ago, I think it was, we launched into the secondary aspect of it. Not many districts have MTSS at the high school, middle school level. We do. And so now we're in our second year of really, truly learning more and more and more about the MTSS approach with math. So we've got a great deal of work taking place within the professional learning, which will have a direct impact on student success. And I do have to give a shout out to your building leaders over there and the BLT members, and then also just the staff members themselves. There really truly is a sense of buy-in to what's going on, and that's appreciative, because not everywhere is that the case. When oftentimes if topic of professional learning comes up and people just roll their eyes and say, hurry up and get it over. That's just not what's happening. And so that's a great thing. So that's one of the pillars I wanted to discuss with you. The second one is communication, culture, and community, but that also stems from tonight's topic about ensuring that everyone knows about what's going on within the professional learning. And so a culture is made up of all sorts of pieces and parts. A huge piece of that, of course, are the people who come to work in the school system. So that is, plays into what happens with our culture. The research work on adjusting a real change in culture is 5 to 7 year time period is what it takes. And so we are dedicated. We are all Longhorns. But we need to continue down this path with true focus. And I believe, given time, it's going to continue. It will take place, because each time we have a meeting with any sort of group, these topics come up. That helps build the culture, the positive culture that will lead to setting our students up for success as they move on beyond the land of the Longhorns. So that's an update. This work will never be finished in reality. It's a 5-year plan. So we can continue, we say, well, we think we want to be doing this. We do it with fidelity, but sometimes we have to adjust things. Right now we're in a really good spot. We're working toward it. By the way, I happen to mention KISA, Dr. Ruda. We will be having a presentation on that in the near future. You're welcome. The come April 22nd, I believe it is when we have our meeting with the State Department of Education to move forward with the accreditation plan. But the work that we just discussed, Jerry discussed, Randy discussed, I've been mentioning, that's a piece and part of the KISA plan. So we're in a great spot. We will be fully prepared for that. That's it.
Next item for business is the Elkhart USD 218 petition.
All righty. Goes from the sublime to the ridiculous sometimes. But we are looking for some closure on this USD 218 situation. By way of background reminder, 218 is interested in leaving the High Plains Educational Co-op. It's not like just picking cherries, though. There's a process that has to take place. And ultimately, to make that happen, the State Board of Education has to approve of that. Okay? In order to get that spot, though, a couple things have to occur. One is the USD 218 superintendent and Board of Education had to create or send out a petition to all of the member districts to say, hey, we want this. What do you think? And so you have in your packet a copy of the actual letter that Chuck Anglin, that's their superintendent, sent to all members of the co-op. This is our copy. Basically, and you can read, basically it boils down to they think it's what's best for their kids. Okie dokie. That's what they believe. So what occurs is each district or each member of the High Plains Educational Co-op, there will ultimately be a vote at that group Thursday or next week or next month, one of the two. Some districts are acting on this now, as in tonight or this week. Some are deciding to do it later, as in next month, for whatever reason. And we've had this, if not on the agenda for 6 months, we've discussed it basically every month. So as far as I'm concerned, we've got other lawns to mow. Let's just go ahead and cast our vote, as far as I'm concerned. So if the vote is yes, that let's say it carries the water, and it takes 12 yes votes, by the way, 12 of 17 districts have to say yes. Then it goes to the State Board of Education for their final determination. If the vote is no, let's say they only get 10 votes or 0 votes. Let's say they get 10 votes. They don't get that magic watermark. Then the KSDE legal counsel will come out. They'll drive out to Western Kansas for a fact-finding sojourn, if you will. What they are looking at is two things. Is Elkhart, in this case Elkhart, any other district we're wanting to do this, it'd be them. Are they able to fulfill the needs of the IEPs? That's what they're looking to see. Okay. The second thing that they're looking at is what impact would this have on the remainder of the co-op members. So, personally, whether Elkhart is able to serve their IEPs properly really is not a concern to me. Outside of an altruistic individual that I am, that's their problem. That's their issue. In my mind's eye, there's no way in God's green earth they'd be able to do it, but they're big boys and girls that get to put the pants on and make their own decisions. So that is not our decision. Our decision is, or whether we support their petition, is the impact on the rest of the co-op. For us, if this goes down the pike and the State Board of Education approves it, the price of our assessment will go up by almost $90,000 for next year. I see no real reason at all to do that just to make Elkhart happy, because that's what it boils down to. So, what questions may I answer regarding the background on this and/or how it's going to work, depending on how the vote goes? And yours is one of 17 votes. Whether those votes all take place this week or next week, that's up to each individual individual districts. Some districts will be doing it this week, some will wait till next month, whatever. Upon this board's vote, I will officially, through Robin, send that information to Alexa, who is the chair of High Plains. I officially recommend that you deny the USD 218 petition to leave the High Plains Educational Co-op. That's my official recommendation.
So outside of the fiscal note that you talked about, kind of talk, what's the timeline? You know, if the vote's no, and it goes to fact finding, what's the time frame of?
Well, it's going to take 18 months
Yeah.
minimum. If you read, or if you just haven't happened to have yet, he's wanting this done by July 1. There's no way it could happen that quickly. The State Board of Education doesn't act that quickly by any means. We're also talking about getting Scott Gordon's the guy's name, lawyer out here in order to do the fact finding. If they were king of the world, it would take place July 1. It's just not enough days in between now and then for that to occur. So let's just say in a la la land, this turns into something that people support. The fastest it'd be for the 27-28 school year is what it would be.
Did you say there's 17 members of the,
That is correct. Yep.
us
17.
included?
Yep. And well, it includes Elkhart. I think they'll vote for themselves, but frankly, the way this has gone, I don't know that they will vote for I would expect them to vote yes for themselves, but I've been surprised.
We've attended the superintendent's council, and it hasn't been received very well, so anybody that I know of usually.
No, I don't want to put words in anyone else's mouth, but I'd be really surprised if any district were to vote yes on this.
How long has High Plains?
Oh, 70s, since the 70s. Yeah, it's been around for a while, yeah. The dark part of my soul, and I've got a really, really good soul, a really good soul, would kind of like to see them get the permission to go and hurt themselves because the lawsuits would come. I mean, it's just a matter of time that they just can't do it. But my official recommendation is deny the petition.
I would make a motion that we deny the Elkhart USD 218 petition.
Second.
Been moved by Dave Novak and seconded by Derek to deny USD 218's position to leave the HP East, the High Plains Co-op. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is setting the grade level student capacities.
All righty, starting 2 years ago, on an annual basis, each district across the state of Kansas has to set the grade level student capacities. In my mind's eye, this is really not an issue to us. We've had open borders forever, well, to my knowledge, for a good long time. This is related to when the legislature, and then it went into law, that all districts have to have policy allowing non-resident students unless there's certain things that occur. And just a piece of this is setting the capacity. So this is the math or the numbers that we set 2 years ago. We didn't come close to this last year with our headcount drop, anticipated headcount drop, which will probably, unfortunately, be occurring again. There's no way we're going to be close to it again come next year. So the numbers you see before you is pre-K pre-K 60 per pre-K, K2 72 per class, 3 through 5 80, I'm sorry, 6 through 8 90, 9 through 12 90, and then oddly enough, the law dictates one-off type things like welding and band and PE. And so once again, we didn't come near these capacities. So I recommend the board approve of the proposed grade level student capacities as presented.
How close are those numbers to current enrollment?
I'm sorry, what?
How close are those numbers to current enrollment? Are we talking a couple hundred students, or what would be a number to go off of there?
You mean our total enrollment?
Just a ballpark range. Of current versus the
Right now, we have like 12 per class in kindergarten, 16 in like a second grade classroom. I mean, we're not close.
Okay.
And if we were to pop it, we'd have to open a new section. I mean, a great problem to have. Be a great problem to have.
Any more discussion? I'd ask for a motion to approve the proposed grade level student capacities as presented.
I move.
Second.
Moved by Jarek and seconded by Ryan Rita. To approve the proposed grade level student capacities as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And next item is the track.
All righty. Things I have asked Garrett to come up to the table to get on the mic in case you have questions for him beyond whatever I tell you. See if we're telling the same stories. The things are going along swimmingly with the creation, the redoing of the track. Things are just going along. But if you will recall, you go back and read your December meetings, and a couple times said, but hold on, it ain't done till it's done. And so, like I said, everything's on track, way ahead of schedule. Life's good. Life's good with track building. Then, woe is me. Garrett came and said, we got a problem. Houston, we've got a problem. The rubberized paint, which is the final layer of the track, was flaking off. It's starting to flake off in spots. So we went and looked at it. And not by working hard at it, just by rubbing my foot on it. If there was a flaking area beginning, think like on a wall with paint. Just certain areas don't adhere, right? That's what it is looking like. If you've not gone out there to look at it, get on out there. It's fun for you to see. Well, just by simply waving my foot over or pushing it, it pulled back more of the stuff. So we've got a problem. Okay. So now we got to say, well, what's happening? I mean, this is not acceptable. We're not going to accept it. We've got 1.2 in this. The great thing about this is it is warranty work. Another piece of that is this is the very first track that's been totally done by the Mammoth Group, 100%. So it's important to them that it comes out, like a shining star. So then we're trying to discern, well, what's going on here? What happened? Step one, this is all about a week and a half before Christmas. Okay, things are hot and heavy right about then. So the first rendition of, well, we think, was maybe the paint wasn't properly mixed. The paint and the rubberized material wasn't properly mixed. Since that time, they've come back and said, no, we think it's this instead. They think they need to do a better job of cleaning the surface off before they put the paint and rubberized material on the actual hard stuff itself. And like I said earlier, I alluded to, it makes sense. If you've ever painted a wall in your house and it's not properly cleaned and there's a little bit of dirt there, it's not going to stay. It's going to come off. So that's the current belief that that's what's taking place. So the remedy to this, if that turns out to be accurate, is to double down on the cleaning of the surface and come in and do it right before they're doing the spraying. I mean, same day, same process. Okay? Fully well being cognizant of the fact that we live in southwest Kansas, we have a thing called wind and a thing called dust. So it's pretty doggone important to just stay in front of the sprayer and make sure it's cleaned off. Now, how do we go about getting this done so maybe we can have a track on that same track? Regardless, the paint has to be ground off of the track. It has to be bring in a grinder of some sort, pull it up. And we can't do anything until it's gone because the issue is still underlying under the paint itself. So soon, in the next 10 days, unless there's an update on that.
Should be next 10 days still.
Next day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
They'll be coming in and grinding the top part of the track off. The paint will be going away. So then the question is, we have options, plans A, B, and C as to getting it done. What we want is Plan A, but this is winter, so we're weather dependent. With Plan A, so the grinding gets done. All the plans A, B, and C all have that in common. The grinding is done. Okay, now it's just a matter of timing of laying down the new stuff. So weather cooperates, and we get the entire track done by mid-February, and all's well. Track season begins around spring break, so not a problem. In and out and done. Thank you very much. Moving on. Plan B, weather dependent, get it done by mid-March or so. We'll see how that, it all depends on temperature guidelines and whatnot for the work that needs to be completed. The final plan, which is not the one we want by any means, is to wait until after track. So basically, we can practice on the track, but we would not be holding the 3 meets that we're scheduled to hold on that track this year. So this is not an action item. I'm just bringing this to you to tell you where we're sitting as we're working through this thing. I think things will line up as best they can be. We'll see what the weather does, frankly. In the meantime, Kent and Jerry, I've asked them to look into, if we can't hold our meets, where could we do it? And they're going to start calling around and seeing, is it possible to hold a meet elsewhere? Because like I said, we're on the books for 3. We were going to put in for regional track meet. Well, now we're not going to do that because we can't account for it. We cannot really know that it's going to be here. So, anything to add, Garrett? Did I leave something off?
I think you got everything.
Is that the right color?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just on the road, it looks dark, black. No, it wasn't the gray color that we.
No, it's got metal gray.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
When you go out there, you can
Do
see
you
the
step on
color.
it?
Yeah.
I just saw it from the road.
What's the time frame? I know we had like liquidated damages built in on time frame. What's
It's late March. Late March. So of course we don't want that to occur, but
Yeah.
that's why we have contracts.
So when they grind that paint off, that's not down to the concrete, there's a rubber
No,
below that.
right.
Are they gonna dig into any of that rubber?
No,
at all?
that's not the plan.
Nope. So their machinery they use, it's a lot of lasers on there. They could go in and take an 1/8 inch off. And
They're
just
taking
cut that,
just the paint.
just that top layer of paint and colored rubber on there.
What
And
happens if they get it done in February or March, and we run on it, and then let's say next September, we see there's a problem?
Well, once again, it's contract work. I mean, once any project, we punch it and we accept it, it becomes ours. However, this does have a 1-year warranty on craftsmanship and materials. So I would think that would be in force. I'd hope against hope. That would not be the case, but we pay attention. And that's why we have contracts. That's why lawyers read things.
Did we know we were gonna be Mammoth guinea pig going into this? I don't remember that.
Well, not so much. I mean, they're usually, sub things out, and then they got excited because they brought their own, and they bought their own people. I mean, the group they've been working with. So it's not like they said, hey, Scott and Mike, you want to go do this? You've never done it before. Let's come on in. I mean, it's a group that's done things. I just don't, it's interesting to me that the dust factor, or the dirt factor. Yeah, well, time will tell. So I don't have great news for you, but at least we have a plan. We're putting things together and we're going to implement them.
Scott, were some areas a lot worse than others?
Yeah. The visitor straightaway was worse. Has it continued to deteriorate?
yeah, it's by far the worst in the, East Curve.
Which could account for that's where more dirt was. As far as on the field areas, there's one little area that we've seen. But I'm in talking to their people, saying it might be inevitable. Might want to come and do that anyway. So we'll see.
Maybe that's just where kids are using it right now.
Oh, you mean on the track itself, the track day? I don't know. But and kids will be wearing their cleats. I mean, so it's not going to get better unto itself. That's not. It's just a real shame because it's it will be a show place and it would be great to have a celebration and have a ribbon cutting and hold on yards. We'll just have to delay it.
Do you know what the life expectancy is? How long is it supposed to last before redoing exactly what we're doing? Did they say that?
Yeah, so the painting is about 5 years. We got to redo the paint about every 5 years. The rubber itself is 20 to 25 years, and the groundwork underneath the rubber, the asphalt and the dirt, they're thinking about 40 to 45.
This should be in my lifetime, a permanent fix. Should be. But- So I don't have great news there for you, Mr. Peterson, but that, we deal with what comes forward and we make plans and we we implement them and move on.
The next item for business is the resolution for setting of meetings.
All righty. Several years ago, things got reset. It used to be forever and ever, amen. All this stuff took place in July. And then under Brownback's watch, that's when new board members got seated in January. And then also at that same time, they made the decision at that point to reset or address when the meetings take place, date and time. So we already took care of the election last month. So this month, you're facing the decision of either going ahead and setting the meetings for the rest of the year, next year, now, or kicking it down the road until July. I always think that's a better option because why upset the apple cart and confuse things? So you have in your packet somewhere, resolutions to establish the board's regular meeting dates. There are two options that the KASB has put together. Option one is to set them now, sit down and just get them figured out. Or option two is to establish a date and do it in July. I recommend the board pass the second resolution, or portion of this resolution, to set the meetings for the upcoming school year during the July meeting, as has been done for, as long as the district's been a district. So that's my recommendation, Mr. Peterson.
Anybody got any discussion on that?
Mr. President,
Yep.
I move the adoption of the following resolution. Whereas the Board of Education must act each year on or after the second Monday in January and before February 1st of each year, or at the later date during the calendar year to establish its meeting dates, times, and location.
So you're moving that we push this to July.
Yes, please.
Second.
Moved by Ryan Trivogel, seconded by Ryan Ruda to pass the resolution to set the meetings for the upcoming school year during the July meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next is the school calendar for next year.
All right, if you'll recall, the calendar committee always works, 2 years out or a year ahead. And that allows us to, when we do address the calendar for the following school year, it's just a matter of coming in and making sure all the counts are correct, and then we take them to a vote. And so we started the process a couple of years back of actually doing the vote prior to Christmas. So then we come into the January meeting to set the calendar for the following school year. So this year, we actually took 3 different calendars that had been created by the calendar committee. There were far more than that were created, but 3 went to a primary vote, if you will. And the 2 vote getters from that came out, and we had the general election on the calendar for next year. And what you have before you, it's titled 26-27 School Calendar B. It just happens to be the name of it. That's all it is. But, it keeps separated from A and L and 15 and dog. And so the 2 calendars that went forward, one is this one, which is the top voting calendar. It's very reminiscent of this year's calendar with the departure that it has a full week off at Thanksgiving. Okay. The other calendar, the one that did not carry the day, was a hybrid calendar. It set up moving the professional learning days and most of the meetings to the Monday. So throughout, but it's hybrid because it's not a full day calendar, because 3 or 4 months out of the year, kids came to school a regular 5 days. Okay, but there were some where it transitioned to a 4-day week for the kids. That did not carry the vote. Okay, this calendar carried the vote. vote of 54 to 43. We offer it up to anybody who comes to work at ESD 363, including the High Plains people. So we have, over 200 and some odd people have the opportunity to vote on this. And then we had, what's that, 97 votes came back. Regardless, the winning vote is for calendar B. So the calendar committee, we verified that. They make a recommendation to me as superintendent, then I make a recommendation to you for your action. So I recommend the board approve of the recommended school calendar for the 26-27 school year as presented, calendar B.
I'll make that motion.
Who was the second? Sean? Moved by Ryan Trivogel, seconded by Sean to approve the recommended school calendar, calendar B for the 26-27 school year. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a donation.
Yeah, we continue to have great support from our community for all different facets of the school district. And this month, the Brookover Land Enterprises has come forward to donate the funding needed to purchase some weight racks for the high school. I think it's wonderful because it keeps everything as safe as possible, and then also allows us to roll out the old ones, possibly sell them as a fundraiser. We'll put the money back into the athletics department. So I recommend the board accept the donation from Brookover Land Enterprises.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Moved by Dave Novak, seconded by Landon Lukens. To accept the donation from Brookover Land Enterprises, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Executive session.
15 if you're telling jokes, but 10 if you want it. Gotta work.
I move we go into executive session for 12 minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Moved by Ryan Trivogel, seconded by Jarek Mater to go into executive session for 12 minutes, starting at 6:55. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Very good. Carry, Ryan. That impassioned speech you gave.